Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about Scrum, very important part of Agile. Scrum is a framework, and I may have to talk about this Scrum in this way. It is not a methodology. There's no manual for Scrum. Instead, we talk about the characteristics of Scrum and we talk about how to run it, and rest is up to you. The main characteristics of Scrum, it's a team approach. And there are three things that are very, very important: backlog, feedback, and sprint. And all these are done by teams. I'll say this again so you won't forget. It's a team approach. You need to create backlog, all the tasks that need to be fulfilled by the team about a product. And then you need to think about how to get feedback on a daily basis. And this short project routine called sprint should be organized by you. And this whole combination of these characteristics, we call it Scrum. So if you go to scrum.org, it's an organization that promotes the value of Scrum. They talk about the values of Scrum: courage, focus, commitment, respect, and openness, and which is really good and all. But more importantly, you need to keep this in mind, and you are not supposed to forget. This is how things work. Scrum Framework, this framework is also taken from scrum.org as well. You start from product backlog. Product backlog as in, there are functionalities, functions, features, and everything else that need to be done by the product. But instead of taking this whole thing and attack it at once, we took the small portion of this product backlog and have a sprint backlog. A portion of this backlog that can be done by the sprint, usually done in 2 to 4 weeks. So, creating this sprint backlog, we call it sprint planning. And we do this, and we have this daily Scrum, and after this sprint is over, and we go through a sprint review, and then keep iterating this process, and we have workable increment. Okay, I'll say this again. We start with the product backlog, all the tasks, features, functionalities about the product itself. And we take the portion of it, and we plan for the sprint, small project that can take care of a few of those tasks and features about the product in 2 to 4 weeks. We call that a sprint. And combination and integration of all these sprints, we call that a Scrum. Okay. The team model in Scrum is designed to optimize flexibility, creativity, and productivity. Yes, okay. What's that supposed to mean? Scrum team, the team that actually runs the sprint, there are three components of this team: product owner, development team, and a Scrum master. Okay, product owner as in who will be in charge of actual product, and the development team are the ones that actually develop the product, and the master is just coordinating this entire process. Scrum team is self-organizing, cross-functional, as in once they get the sprint backlog, once they are in this sprint planning, okay, this is what we are going to do in our sprint, and that has to work with multiple departments to make this thing work. I'm not sure if you remember this, when we were talking about design thinking plus lean plus agile, we said design thinking, customer-centric. What do customers need? Lean, make the right thing. Agile, make the thing right. As a person or a team that develops the product and services and features, we need to do it right. And this process, this structure ensures that make the thing right part of our development process. So, this slide may be the most important slide of this lecture. This is the Scrum Board that you need to have. There's a user story, and there's a to-do list, And in the end, you have to have, okay, it's done. And in the middle, things that you are working on called in progress. And there are things that you have done it, but you need to verify it, so we call it to verify. So we have this board on the wall, and every user story, there's a to-do list. And then we do something, and then we put that we move that progress into a to verify. After it's verified, and we move that to a done list. And when everything is done, then we are done with the sprint. So, recap. Product backlog, and we need to create a sprint backlog, and we have sprint planning. When we do that, we use user story, and we create this Scrum Board to follow the process. And we are going to talk about this in detail when we talk about the sprint planning, but everything should be done in 2 to 4 weeks. We are not talking about 6 months project or 3 months project. We have to do everything in less than a month. Therefore, we need to pinpoint and narrow down what our focus area really is, what we really want to work on right away. If we can do that, we'll be fine. If you want to get the best result doing this, there are 3 things that you have to consider: planning, communication, and team collaboration. Yeah, planning should be done well, but not in the sense of strategic planning. We don't spend hours and years and months on planning. We talk about the pinpointing what we really need to work on for any given project. And then we need to communicate among members and with the other stakeholders. If we can do communication well, then there's a better chance that we are going to have a better result. And yes, team collaboration. The better the team collaboration, the better the end result. Very simple, very straightforward. And for some reason, team collaboration may not really happen. Therefore, Scrum Master has to do a really good job coordinating the whole thing. Remember, communication is very important. And the planning can be done rather easily if you communicate well among yourselves and with other departments. So that communication part actually comes from, although we didn't really talk about it during the design thinking session, it comes from design thinking as well. If you can empathize with other departments, then you can communicate better because you have their interest at your heart. And you try to empathize with the person that you are talking with. So more design thinking concept that you adopt to your daily routine, the better communicator you will be. So empathy is a very big portion of communication and leadership as well. Now, planning, communication, team collaboration. That's what you need for the better result of Scrum. And we are moving on to a sprint planning. Thank you.